I'm currently standing with Kevin Winter from UCT, the University of Cape Town. We are standing alongside the beautiful Liesbeek River at the Vineyard Hotel. Hi, Kevin, and welcome.
Thank you very much indeed.
So please, can you tell me a bit about the Friends of Liesbeek? What is it about and how can one get involved?
Yeah, the Friends of Liesbeek is one of those neighbourhood groups that started in 1991, soon after the Earth Summit in Rio, and people were really frustrated that they couldn't get local action taking place in a river that actually was quite poor in terms of the pollution in the river, particularly plastics and plastic bags and what stormwater drains were delivering into the river. And so it started out of that, out of people being frustrated about what was going on. And a small little group got together and over the years have made quite an impact on this river. And now, in 2019, about 10 people are employed every day to clean up the river through private funding. So that's the biggest story that has emerged over almost 25, nearly 30 years. How do you get involved with things like this? I'm obviously a lecturer, and I was fascinated by the river that provided an opportunity for us to use as a student laboratory in the real world, and so we started to do lots of work in the river as a result. But more importantly, how do they find a point at which they can get involved in an organization? Most organizations, like the Friends of Liesbeek, have a website, so that gives you at least a point of contact. And then the Friends of Liesbeek is quite active, at least in the southern suburbs area, often with notices in local newspapers where clean-up events occur. And you've got to be brave, first of all, to say, okay, I'm going to come and do one of those cleanups. And once you do something in terms of putting your toe in the water, as it were, then a whole lot of new things start to arise and you start to build friends around that. So it's not easy to suddenly volunteer and thinking, what am I getting into? But rather, you're going along to one particular event or a meeting or a talk, something that interests you, and you see it being advertised. You go along. If you have to go on your own, be brave. But start to go there because I'm going to make friends, and I'm going to see whether this really is an organization that helps me. So over the years, what we've done is run workshops, we've run school workshops, we've run adult walks and talks, we've done cleanups once a month. They're all places where you start with that opportunity. The website obviously helps first of all, and then you start to actually build that communication from there.
Do you have the website for me?
Yeah, the website is Friends of Liesbeek, and it's abbreviated to fol.org.za.
Thank you so much. Can you please tell me about 2019? What is some significant research around the Liesbeek River?
Yeah, we've got a goodie at this stage because we've been working at this for a while, and it's now starting to work very well for us in that we are monitoring the river using real-time instruments and sensors that enables us to see the information on the river on the back of our cell phones. Every 5 minutes, as the water flows through 3 monitoring points on this river, we're able to know what's going on in that river in terms of the pollution and the flow of the river. We need that because every now and again we get incidents, spills of, it could be either industry along the way, but particularly stormwater pipes that are broken, that start to actually deliver poor water, and sewage lines as well that are broken, that bring poor water quality into the river. And we need to be able to move quite quickly to stop that or to clean up that particular event with the help of the City Council, the Municipality of Cape Town. So this is, for us, a big advancement to have eyes on the river that we can be alerted to when the water quality deteriorates like that. And it's so much more helpful than taking samples once a month, which gives us very little idea about what's going on.
I completely understand and I agree with you. And then can you tell me a bit about the Peninsula Paddle? What is it and how can someone get involved?
Yeah, so here's a fun thing we do every year, and we used to do it in June, close to Environmental Day, but our rainfall has shifted over the 10 years since we first started this. About 2010, when we started this idea, 4 of us got into canoes, kayaks, and we paddled from Muizenberg Beach through to Milnerton Beach on the other side. Wow. We didn't really know what we were getting into, and a lot of the time we actually couldn't paddle because the water was covered by weed, and it was just impossible. We were dragging our canoes behind us. And over the years after that, the City of Cape Town put together a mayoral fund, which is part of the Extended Public Works program, and it employs almost 200 people to clean up rivers all around the Cape Town's waterways. And if you think of it, if there's 200 people employed like that, it means that there's money going into a household of 5 people. So just that alone is really exciting, that people are finding employment through the rehabilitation of river systems. So what we do every year is we take a group of between 80 and 100 people through the canals. It's grown so much we have to actually even stop the number of people that are coming with us.
Okay.
And we do sections of the river. And most of all what we do is, apart from paddling, which we can now paddle through all of the waterways quite comfortably, we even go out to sea and come in at Milnerton Lagoon, is to talk about the waterways. And we hold 2 very important things, ideas in our head, that the health of the city is seen in its waterways. In other words, everything that comes off the surface finds its way into the waterways and causes the kind of pollution that we see. And so that's the one thing, is the health of the city is seen in its waterways. And the second thing, it's a very important reason why we cross the whole of the Cape Town area. And we go through some quite terrible areas, in fact, or areas that are quite polluted in terms of the canals and so on. And we do that because we all are connected to the waterways. So the drainage on my house and whatever happens on the roads that I drive on all finds its way into the rivers. And if I throw bags and plastics and other things into the river, I'm connecting myself to that river, in this case, in a rather poor way. So the long term for the city of Cape Town is to try and look at its waterways and to see whether that can transform the city, so that we do have improved quality of waterways and better living spaces for people to live in, alongside some of these very, very poor environments on the Cape Flats, for instance. So it's trying to transcend through all kinds of suburbs that have been broken by the Apartheid Systems Group Areas Act.
Thank you so much, Kevin.
Great, pleasure.